Hello everyone, welcome to the iOS room. I hope all of you are doing great. So in this video, we are going to talk about SwiftUI state and binding. What is the difference and how they should be used? So state and binding are basically property wrappers, which means there is some logic associated with them. So if you talk about state, every time you change the value of a state property, it will retrigger the UI or update the UI. On the other hand, as the name suggests, binding, it binds the state between different SwiftUI components and SwiftUI views. So, for example, we have this code. So here we have a button and a number on the screen. If you hit that button, it will increment the number by one every time you hit this button. So let's break this code into smaller components. For example, let's create one component for this text struct custom text view and copy paste here and here create this number property and call your component here and pass your state. Here we have a state property number, we are passing it. So if you run this again, it should work as it was working before. See, now let's create the another custom component for this button as well. Struct custom button sorry and copy your button here. And we need this number property here as well, but we cannot make it like the custom text a let property because we are changing it on the button click. So we have to make it something like this state. So, but we cannot make it a state as well because then it will be state of this view only. But what actually we want to change this, change the state of the parent component, this state actually. So what we have to do, we have to make it a binding. So that's where binding comes into play. As I was saying, it binds the state between different SwiftUI components. So create your number here. And now if you put your view, custom button view here, and here we have to pass your number state as a binding. So to pass it as a binding, you have to put a dollar sign in front of the state and pass it here. So now if you run this, you will see on the button click, the number will change as it was changing before. Though the number is this button component, button is now a separate component and we are changing it into the child component, uh, still it is reflecting back into the parent component because of this binding. What we did, we bind the state between these two views, parent and this custom button, this child view. So that's what the difference between state and binding. And basically, you can pass your state into the child views by two ways. One is you just have to pass it to render into the child view. For example, in this custom text button, we are passing it and we are just using it on the UI. And on the other way, here in custom button, we are passing this state and we are not just using it into the UI. We are actually changing it on the button click. So that's how you should use binding. In the first component, custom text, you don't need to make it a binding because we are not changing it. But here we need to make it a binding because we are changing it and we have to bind this state between these two views, this parent and the child views. So that's it for this video. I hope this helps you in your iOS journey. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.